rolling, guys. Hit it. Oh, that was sick.
Diggity dog. Breaking. Diggity dog.
It's day 3 of Hawktober number 6, checking out all of the alternative pro skater games on the market in the early 2000s. Today we're going to be dropping in on MTV Sports Skateboarding featuring Andy McDonald. It's one of 4 entries in the MTV Sports series. Think Activision 02 with snowboarding, BMX and of course skateboarding. Or maybe you thought of Disney Sports, which had Disney skateboarding that I reviewed last year. I don't really know a whole lot about this game, to be perfectly honest. My only exposure to it prior to this was seeing these things stacked floor to ceiling in my local retro game store for years, which was always a bit of a red flag. But you guys know me, I'm a connoisseur of morbid curiosity, so let's just hope that we're uncovering a hidden gem. Looking inside the manual, we're greeted with a nice message from Andy himself talking about how video games are fun and challenging, but aren't the equivalent to real life, so get out there, live your life and try out skateboarding. I really like that, it's a very positive message. Developed by a studio known as Dark Black, who would go on to make another skateboarding game, Rocket Power Team Rocket Rescue on the PS1, they don't even have a Wikipedia page, so I don't really know what to expect there. The game was published by THQ and released in late 2000 on the eve of Pro Skater 2. Keep that in mind moving forward. It's got that rad, hyped up skater intro, the menu looks nice, and there is a strong selection of pros to choose from. Andy McDonald of course, Rob Jurek, Danny Way, Stevie Williams, Keith Huffnagel, and Colin McKay to name only a few. There is also a large selection of different modes to play. We might start off with Lifestyle, as that seems to be the main career, working your way up through the ranks. We can't play as any of the pros here though, so we get to make our own character from basic pieces, and oh god, I hate menus like this. The rotary dial telephone thing, it's very much not user friendly. I don't know why so many games thought this was acceptable back in the day. Anyway, time for the first level. Let's do it. Oh, okay. So the controls are laid out the same as Pro Skater, thankfully, so there shouldn't be much of a learning curve here, but my god, this feels really stiff. Seriously, look at this. I don't know if you can tell by watching footage, but he is so awkward to control. I have to force my fingers down on the buttons so hard to actually get the tricks to register. It feels like my thumb is going to go through the controller. I guess because I'm just starting out with a basic custom character that my stat points aren't that great. Look, forget this for now, let me just grab our pal Andy and try out Free Skate for a bit. I like on the loading screen that you can select which song you want to play during the level, that's pretty cool. Oh no. Oh no. He's still just as stiff to control? Oh dear, that's not good. He can get up a bit higher in the air and do tricks a little easier, but this is still so stiff to play. It doesn't help that the frame rate is dog shit as well. We're in a small enclosed space, why is it so bad? Honestly, I am trying my absolute hardest to pass this first competition with a score of 6 or better, but I just can't stay on the board. Even when I think I'm doing great, he just flies off and lays there like he's fully concussed. This is brutal, man. I don't think I've ever had my ass kicked by a skating game so quickly before, and I successfully beat Tony Hawk Ride with motion controls for God's sake, let alone all my experience with these sorts of games. This should not be so hard to do. Andy McDonald said in his little intro that everyone can skate better in the game than real life, but I beg to differ. I can skate circles around this in real life easier than I can in this fucking game. Forget that. Look, what other modes can we try out? I'm not even going to look at high score mode, because I just don't have the strength. So let's see what MTV Hunt is all about. We can play as pros here, so let's crank those stats up and start getting through this bitch. In this mode, we need to collect 10 of the little logos placed around the stage, along with pieces of a deck to unlock a new board, but guess what? It's not much fucking better! God, how did they fuck this up so bad? I don't understand how that's possible, and the worst part is that controls are the hardest thing to try and critique. I can use as many creative adjectives as possible to describe this, such as foul, disgusting, disorienting, awful, sloppy, shitty, distressing, dire, atrocious, repulsive, and repugnant, but unless you've held the controller and experienced this firsthand, you'll never truly understand what it feels like to play this garbage. Even if I could grind this rail, having to use the shoulder buttons to balance myself feels so wrong. That's a crime against nature. And when you fall off of the board, all of your progress flies away, like my expectations for this game within the first 10 minutes. Do you know what this reminds me of? Tony Hawk's Motion. Yeah, it's that bad to play. Okay, maybe that's a little harsh, but I don't think I've played such an immediately unplayable game since then. And that shit forced awful motion controls on you, on the DS no less. But I'm holding a controller in my hands here. I'm pressing the buttons and it just doesn't work. How did they fuck it up so bad? Oh, this MTV Hunt is brutal, but at least we can make it through to see some more levels. We've got schoolyards, industrial factories, a medieval castle. Man, that's out of left field. I'd expect that maybe as a secret level, but not level 3. All of them are ginormous, far too big to comprehend with the abysmal navigation in this game, and they each have a TV screen hidden somewhere in the level playing full motion video of whatever music video you're listening to at the time. God, no wonder the frame rate is such a mess. What a stupid decision. Apocalypse did this as well, the game that Neversoft made to lay the groundwork for Pro Skater. At least that was actually a decent game though. This is just not worth the time so far. And because you're going to suck at this, you'll be replaying levels over and over before you complete them. So prepare to hear whatever song you selected on repeat the entire time. Stupid! It's the one thing I've praised so far, and they can't even get that right. Look, trust me on this, okay? Just leave it on shuffle as we shuffle out of this mode, because believe it or not, collecting the same shit in every level with no other objectives gets old very quickly. Survival mode is just doing as many tricks as possible before the timer runs out, so nothing else new there. Finally, we get to stunt mode, which sounds like a breath of fresh air. All we've got to do is score a sick trick over a huge gap, but it's almost impossible to make the damn gap. Why is this so hard? Why is this so hard? Look at it! I've been playing for the better part of an hour now, and I can't even do this simple thing. Even if I am able to make it across, the tricks just will not activate correctly. I honestly thought my controller was broken, so I tried every controller in the house, and nothing. No improvement. Nothing fucking worked. And then all of a sudden, the unthinkable happened. I landed it! Like a Chad. To zero fanfare because that's only the first stunt. Next we bomb down a huge street and launch over the gap. First try too. Man, it took longer to load this little area than it did to complete it. The next one is another street launch. Again, I got it on my first try. Man, the difficulty here is so inconsistent, because then the third street level in a row suddenly expects me to land multiple jumps to connecting grinds, and wouldn't you know it, the whole thing is impossible again. Fuck me! Why on earth is this so bad? What has to go so wrong during development for things to end up in such a piss-poor state? Did they have no budget? No time? No experience? Did nobody competent test play this shit? Oh. Okay. Okay, let's regroup for a minute, shall we? Sure, this is an absolute catastrophe, but I've put a little bit of time into it now, and I'm ashamed to admit I've adjusted to how poorly it plays. So the real question is, can I pass that first competition level? Oh, we better hope so, because I'd hate to end the review here. We're just going to aim for those big air rotations, because they earn the most points and are simple enough to do. Ah, shit, I fell off again, and phased through the wall? Surely one bail won't hold us back. As long as I achieve that steep 200,000 point score, then everything will be okay. I failed. Still, I fucking failed. I got similar results with a fraction of the score an hour ago. Fuck this shit. I'm sorry. Look, I like to pride myself on being this beacon of hope that will persevere through even the worst games that most others wouldn't even attempt to give a fair chance. But this is one case where I simply have too much self-respect to keep going. And quite honestly, I think that says a lot, because 12 months ago, I played Simpsons Skateboarding, one of the most notoriously awful games ever conceived, and I played it all the way through, every single level, beaten. A feat that most mere mortals wouldn't even attempt, let alone succeed. And yet, I would do it all again before I'll play any more of MTV Skateboarding. It's that fucking insulting to me. I am done. I love the back of the box here. How does a 540 Benihana into a one-footed Smith grind sound? It sounds fucking impossible in this god-awful shit show. It also mentions the insane stunt mode, which, yeah, I feel pretty insane after playing that as well. Skate with other AI skaters? Now this is something that you will occasionally see, is another dude shredding the level with you, but only in free play. The game is barren and void of life the rest of the time. But this one here, this gets me. Over 35 huge levels. Excuse me? 35 huge levels? Well, I mean, they got the second part right. These levels are definitely huge. Too huge for the PS1 to even handle most of the time. But 35 levels? Pro Skater 2 the same year. You know how many levels that had? 10, including secret unlockables. So I'm morbidly curious, so since I've already given up on this, let's put that unlock everything cheat code in. Not only do we see the absolute horrors on display if we were to suffer all the way through this game, but let's count the levels, shall we? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 23, 24, 25, 26. Okay, there are 26 main levels all up, each of them as generic as the rest. Honestly, where is the personality? Aside from the out-of-place castle stage and unlockable Lunar and Hades levels, they're just the most generic, bare-bones looking courses I could ever think up. But there is only 26 in total according to my count. That's excluding the 8 stunt maps, because these are not full levels. Even then though, that's a total of 34 locations. Unless I'm missing something, but I've triple checked, and if there is one thing that really pisses me the fuck off, it's false advertising. So you can take your vile trash someplace else, MTV. No wonder they lost their cool edge so long ago. Man, and now it's also clear why Andy put that message in the front of the game manual, encouraging us to go out and skate in real life. Because he was trying to warn us. And man, we didn't listen. So let it be heard. Let it be screamed from the rooftops. MTV Skateboarding gets 2 out of fucking 10. Oh, you thought this video was over? No way, dude, because we've still got to take a look at MTV Skateboarding on Game Boy Color. Oh yeah, let's fucking do this, man. You might be thinking, what's the point at looking at a D-make on a much weaker system? Because Tony Hawk had some actually worthwhile D-makes on these systems. So fuck you, we're playing it. I can't miss out on some bald alien creatures skating around bland environments with next to no obstacles, avoiding police and collecting balloons. Yeah, balloons. That's the face of a man realising how vacant this port is. Void of any purpose. It is so hard to earn points here. Again, there is very little variety to the locations we visit despite supposedly travelling all over the world. But hey, the frame rate sure is a huge improvement, I'll give it that. Everything else though, nah. Why are there multiple levels dedicated to roaming around collecting balloons of all things? Reminds me of the Spider-Man 2 game. This shit is so basic. Why would anyone want to play this? It's like that tech deck skateboarding game where you play as a disembodied finger riding around collecting different tech decks. It's basically the same thing, and it doesn't mock me with impossible scores on such a limited moveset. I like tech decks too. Here are a few that I have from when I was little, so yeah. I'd rather spend my time being a little ball sack, and that is no exaggeration. Tony Hawk's Pro Scrotum is better than MTV skateboarding on Game Boy ever could be. Here, you dropped this, king. Dropped your fucking guts. Well, that's MTV skateboarding. The real question, is this the worst skateboarding experience out there? No, I'm afraid there is much worse. Tony Hawk's Motion is still the supreme leader in god-awful skateboarding games, but this one is definitely top 5 in my opinion. And that is just depressing. Because not only is it atrocious to play, but there isn't even anything funny about it. Even the worst of the worst, like Simpsons Skateboarding, has some redeemable qualities given that it can be ironically enjoyable to laugh and take the piss out of, but MTV Skateboarding can't even claim to be funny bad. And that's just sad. Anyway, thank you all for tuning in today for another edition of Clony Hawktober. We've still got plenty more episodes coming later on this week, so be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and remember to share this video with your friends and on social media. I'm Square-Eyed Jack, and I hope you have a great fucking day. Thanks for watching.